Joining us today is Gauri Shinde. She's been, of course, the director of English Vinglish, the film that has gotten such great reviews and obviously a lot of talk around it as well. And it seems it continues, Gauri. So is it behind you, or, you know, you're still kind of living it up?
I was really hoping to leave it behind now, and because I think everything comes with an expiry date, and I think this should have, and I thought like almost a month ago, because it was officially, it completed a year since it released, which is 5th October 2013. Right. And I said, now there shouldn't be any more of this talk, let's move on. I feel this immense need to move on. I have moved on, but of course it hasn't left me.
Is it a function of the fact that you haven't come out with anything new?
I think so. So it's partly my own doing, and I'll change that soon.
But what is taking so long, Gauri? What is keeping you busy now?
Is my slow pace. I think like somebody once said, there are two kinds of people. They are either hares or tortoises. You know, and the world is divided between that. And I think I'm a tortoise.
So in a sense, this filmmaking process, obviously, and a lot of people aspiring to be filmmakers as well, it's something that does require that kind of gestation period.
I don't think so. It really is up to every individual, how you are wired. And there are people who
very prolific as well.
Very prolific. I mean, look at Shobhaa. Look at, she's writing every day 2,500 words every day. I mean, I want to be that. I'm not able to, or I cannot. So I have to accept my limitations. Of course, I have to push myself a little. I can't lie back on my excuse of that I cannot do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's just the way I am, and I think I could have. Done it
But
faster.
Is that to say that there are stories to tell that are waiting to be told, or is it that we are looking at something that we would want to choose to tell? Something that really catches our fancy and we wait for that moment?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely right. That's the moment I wait for. That there has to be something so exciting that worth narrating and worth, you know, diving deep into for 3 years of your life, because that's what it takes.
Right.
From putting your pen to paper to its release and out, you know, and that's like approximate time, average time, 2.5 years it takes. So it has to be exciting enough for me firstly, before anyone else, to want to very badly tell that story. And I find most things boring. So so I need to be really, really interested in something I want to say. I think that's what takes is you know, sort of.
You know, this kind of boredom that kind of sets in, that is always tough when you're in the filmmaking world, because obviously making a film involves spending a certain amount of time, and part of it, and a large part of it, is the process of filmmaking.
Which I love, by the way. So I'm not saying that's, like, I loved every bit of my first feature and every day of it, and I'd be like excited to get on a set. So it's not that, but I think it's also the story I wanted to tell that kept me interested till the end. And so I want something like that which I'm not tired of in the midst of it. I mean, it's something that should hold my interest till the very end.
No, many filmmakers tell me that the best part about filmmaking is when you're actually just scripting it and writing it, and you know, the screenplay and all of it, and the rest of it is just about doing it, the execution. Is this true for you? Because you're kind of saying the exact opposite, that once you're driven by the idea, then it carries through.
Yeah.
But, you know, at some level, it's about the idea, and, you know, one process can be stronger than the other. It's like in a relationship, you know, you'll find one person more strongly into it. So similarly,
I find shooting extremely exciting, because there's so much energy, there's adrenaline, there's people, and I love there's just the vibe of that space of shooting, because, and also what you've written, yes, you've lived with it. Now you want to see how it's coming to life.
Correct.
And there's something unpredictable at every. You cannot say that this is what you plan and this is exactly how it's going to happen, because that's boring. I don't like to plan it to the T, to to not leave any sort of surprise behind. I want the surprises. I want something fresh to happen with whatever I have written. So let's see what happens today. You know, how is this going to be told, or who behaves how, and you know, how the actors do it, or how the situation, or the weather, you know, does what. So you don't know. I mean, that's what's interesting, because otherwise, how can you be interested in a shoot? What you've written, especially as a writer.
Correct.
If you yourself are the writer and then you're going out there to shoot it, and there's not much of mystery left to it, or you know, something to look forward to. But I don't see it like that. I feel there's something needs to happen. Something is coming to life, and things sort of form when you're shooting. Like the exact way they'll form again once more while you're editing.
Correct.
So it's
things change.
Yeah,
There are
so
surprises
every
in
process
store.
has its
You know,
excited.
there are twists and turns, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just want to take you back to that one point that you mentioned about, you know, being stuck with. In fact, we did start talking about it. This was before the camera started rolling. When we started talking about getting stuck and getting slotted.
Yeah.
You know, women's issues is something that you can easily get slotted in with a film, and the first one being an English.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the biggest talking point becomes an ad film, which is talking about second marriage, and you know, and it's again very woman-centric. So in a way, some people will tell you that you're bringing this upon yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it as far as it's.
How did that ad film happen? Let me just ask you that first.
This is a fantastic script written by Low, the agency, Low Lintas, and
for Titan.
Arun, yes, for Tanishq.
For
Tanishq.
Tanishq.
Which is part of the Titan Tata Group.
Yes.
So Arun Iyer, who's the National Creative Director at Low in Bombay, we are friends and colleagues, and we've worked on a lot of ad films in the past as well. So he came to me with the script and said, I want you to direct this.
Why would he come to you? Why I'm asking you this is, will they come to you thinking, she will be able to do justice to it because look, what
I
she did
guess,
with
and I
English
think I'm
English.
flattered with that because it's not because I've just done a woman-centric film, because I've done a lot of films for him in the past, before pre-English English, but the kind of, and these are his words, the kind of sensitivity I would bring to the film, and the kind of casting or the kind of performance, you know, I would
it's all about
bring
capturing
to
a
it.
moment, isn't it?
So I think it's about that, and I'd like to believe as a filmmaker that's my forte than it being woman-centric or it being politically correct or it being, you know, whatever in the activist zone or whatever words are used. So
Which you're not very comfortable with.
I'm not sure I identify entirely, because there are a lot of things that make me. It's not one thing or two things like anyone else.
Being a feminist is not one of them.
May not be, definitely be in the top 5. So.
Yeah, well, people need to know this because then they know what Gauri is. So then if you're going to say that...
I'm okay, people not knowing also. I'm in fact very comfortable with that.
So when you say there are these top 5 things that, you know, define Gauri, what would those be? I mean, what is really... We know that you're a filmmaker, we know what you do, but essentially when you talk about those sensibilities, and obviously that would translate into a lot of things that you will create, what would those be?
I don't know. I haven't really given these adjectives to myself, you know, and I keep wondering who I am on a daily basis.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it is the truth. So I don't know. I think
go on.
some day I'm something, and another day I'm something, and of course there's one. I think the only thing I can say is I like being honest to myself about whatever that is in that moment, you know, which is...
No, it's just different for a person who is defining characters, who's always looking at telling you a story about people, and obviously there are shades to characters, and I'm again going back to the character that we saw in English for English, and there were so many different shades, yes? And to be able to create that, to be able to see that, to be able to visualize that, you need to be of a certain mindset is what we imagine. And that's what I'm trying to get at, because obviously the layers, and that's not something that we ordinarily see in films. That kind of work that goes into characterization, at least in Indian films. So which is a refreshing change. Do you agree with that? I mean,
I'm glad if it is. I mean, that's how I would. I mean, for me, it's something that it's not. I have
worked on.
No, what do you say? Labored on. It is something that it's my sensibilities. It's the way I am is what I have you know, put out there.
But were you surprised by the reactions that you got?
The reactions, you're always surprised in terms of any creative work that you do, and you are always wondering what the response is going to be like. And
but then you have a certain expectation, right? You have created a product, so you have
I mean, you're nervous more than expecting. You're nervous. I hope people like it. I've created this, and I hope at least a few number of people like it, and that's what you go with. And then, of course, I mean, when it's more than a few people who have liked it, it's a great bonus.
But that can't be okay when you're working in films, right?
Especially in a
regular commercial film.
No. I first of all, I'm of the belief that it has to make money, and I can't. It's not an indulgent craft where I just do whatever I feel like, and a lot of
but
people
that's what
can
you seem
suffer.
to suggest when you said only a few people liking
No,
it is
no,
all right.
it's like no. As far as it doesn't make a loss, that's what I meant. When a few
Ah.
people like nobody suffers and nobody feels ashamed of being part of the film. It's not just about making money, but even people who work with you, like my own team, like my ADs or my crew or even the actors, should not feel, oh my God, why did I even do this film?
Right.
That's something that would affect me a lot more.
That plays on your mind when you're working on a film? Or
No, no, when I'm-
any ad film or whatever you're working on?
It's subconsciously there, I
Somewhere
think, but I'm not thinking about that. When I'm working, it's just about that space.
So what's next for Gauri?
I'm just about started writing. So
Writing another film?
yes, yes.
And is it going to be a woman-oriented issue as well?
No.
No.
That's all I can say clearly. That no, it's not woman-oriented specifically. It's not sci-fi. Yeah.
And consciously decided not to make it.
No, it's not even about that. Like
No.
even this wasn't a conscious decision to make a particular kind of film. It's something that came to me. It happened organically, and that's what I believed in as a story, as a film. Not so much as, oh, this is a woman lead. It just happened. And the same thing would happen with the next. I
Right.
don't know how and what will happen with it, but
Are there any specific places that you look for inspiration for your next big idea?
my home and New York.
Is it?
Yes.
Why New York?
I don't know. The city has something to do with a lot of me. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, my first short film I shot there, and I promised myself that I'll come back and shoot my first feature film, and I promptly did that, of course, much later. And yeah, it's something. This is something is very inspiring. There's a vibe, energy to that city which I feel very connected with, and it somehow has become a part of.
So when you write your next film, is it going to be in New York?
Hopefully, because I'd like it to be.
All right. That way you get to spend more time there.
Yes.
Well, good luck for this, Gauri. Thanks
Thank
indeed
you.
for talking to us.
Thank you so much.